I'm Kimberly Lillianstein. I'm from New York City, Manhattan. I grew up on the Upper East Side with my mom and dad and my brother. I was born in China, and then I guess roughly when I was a year old, that's when my parents adopted me. I know it was around Christmas time because they were like, oh, you're a little Christmas gift. It's just the lamest thing ever. They found me in front of a police station when I was an infant, probably, like I said, less than a year old. And so the police station brought me to an orphanage, and then from there I went through the whole process. I always knew I was adopted. It's kind of like those moments where, I don't know, it's like you always know you're a girl, you know? I went about growing up the same way that everyone else did. I don't know how I figured it out, but I think my parents did a great job because I never questioned it. I mean, I knew I was, but I never was like, wow, something's wrong with me. Or it's so weird, why aren't we the same skin color? I never saw myself going down south to a school like Wake. It was rough at first because, I'm from a big city and one of the most diverse cities. I grew up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan and went to a private school with a bunch of bougie people. So, I mean, I never thought there were problems. I mean, I was really oblivious to real social problems until I came here, where I was thrown into this sea of people that I thought were like me in terms of socioeconomic status. And then obviously I'm a different race than most people here, so that was something that kind of just was oh, we're not the same. Wake is a school in the South, so I had preconceptions about how it would be, very heavy in Greek life. I think something that I overlooked and neglected to draw attention to, but definitely did get me a little nervous coming here in the weeks leading up to move in, was the fact that it's a school in the South, and the South has a known history to be racist, so that was something that I was definitely very aware of. And the culture shock, which is crazy to think about, that we have culture shock within a society and a country, but that was something that I definitely talked about to my close friends at home and was concerning to me. Coming to Wake, the people I tend to gravitate more towards, I don't know, because freshman year you're in a situation where everything's random, your roommates are random, your classes, and the people that sign up for those classes really are random, because a lot of the time you're taking divisionals, so you really don't have a say in who you're gonna see. But I guess the people that I ended up choosing as friends were ones that I don't know, I trusted, that I could see myself not having to explain who I am with, but also have interesting backgrounds themselves. On campus I haven't really sought out the Chinese club or anything that's that culture, or those types of cultural clubs, just because I don't identify with that. I'm an American at this point, and I can say that because now I figured it out. I mean, now it sounds like I'm crazy, but I didn't it's something I never thought about before, so it's something that I now feel I need to label. First time I went back to China was a family trip. I want to say it was late middle school or early high school. I never experienced anything like it. I look like the people there. I look like I belong there, but the way I dress, the way my mannerisms, things like that were pinpointers. There were times when I remember someone would come up and talk to me in Chinese, and so I was waiting online, the American I am, and someone just tried talking to me, and I was I couldn't communicate. My grandfather was a German Jew. I think my relationship with him was definitely very strong, Neither his two sisters or him or his parents ended up in a concentration camp, because I think they were smart and they saw what was going on at the time. They definitely still identified with what their country was going through and all those struggles that the German Jews, and any Jew in particular in Europe, was dealing with. I guess there is some sort of interesting connection, and I'm not sure if he saw it during his life, but there's definitely something there. But he was a really caring guy. Coming to Wake, it was a new environment, so by the end of high school I was so overdanced, but I think when I came to Wake I really needed that community,
because it was always something that, you know, it was something that I was used to. It wasn't unfamiliar, even though I was dancing in a completely different state, in a different environment with different people. Like, you know, it's kind of like the same language, and how people like with similar backgrounds, who speak the same language or from similar cultural understandings gravitate towards each other. It's kind of like that with me and dance.
I guess I started dancing when everyone else started dancing, like when they're like 6 years old, younger than 6, probably 3 years old, and everyone's mom puts them into like a ballet class because like it's the girly thing and like normal thing to do. The school I went to like had a pre-professional division, so like what I was going through is basically training you to be at Lincoln Center, either go to Juilliard, go into like a professional dance company from there, and like, I don't know, like have dance as your job.
I guess now I take more pride in the ability to dance versus in high school, just because in high school it became so routine and so normal for me that I didn't realize how special what I could do was. When we're dancing, because a lot of it is based on like physique and like how long your legs are, how skinny you are, like how flexible you are, things like that. That kind of is independent of race and ethnicity, I would say. I mean, I know there's still some like discrimination against like Black dancers in the community, but I guess it's not something that race comes into play to a certain extent. I've never felt it. I mean, I know like how my body is, and I know like there are certain things that I can't change about it, you know, but I like certain dance companies and certain artistic directors want like a certain look, and I know like that sometimes a certain looks comes from a certain type of race or a certain like heritage or background or whatever, and like I don't know, it's hard to like just discern like how important it is in dance, I guess, or how much of an impact and influence like race and things like that have in dance.
I kind of like the way I feel like as a kid you don't think about race. Like you're like, oh, we're all just kids, you're the same age as me, that's awesome, like let's just go draw something.